And so in the Emerald Tablets, Jehudi talks about how they were hybrid human beings, right? Like they were the originals, they were the sons of gods, right? Or the those who are of gods, and gods among men and then men on earth. There were two different types. And then he talks about how there was some calamity that had happened that kind of washed out a lot of the originals in order to have these superficial humans that had a lot of their psychic centers removed or suppressed. Peace family, Conjure Queen here. And in this segment, I want to talk a little bit about the craze of everybody talking about these aliens, these UFOs, and these weird things that everybody's seeing in the skies. Now, I think that is really interesting how when the conspiracy theorists were talking about UFOs and aliens or reptilians, everybody scoffed and laughed and nobody believed us. But now that mainstream media and celebrities are talking about aliens and UFOs, now the world is going crazy. So I think that it's really interesting that now that everybody is starting to talk about aliens, the conspiracy theorists are saying, those are not real aliens. That is just a scam. That's Project Bluebeam. So in this video, I want to just kind of put the question out there and try to get some investigation going on and see what the family thinks. Do y'all think that the phenomenon that's going up in the sky is real UFOs, or do you feel like it's Project Bluebeam and the United States is trying to distract us from something else? Now, in my honest opinion, and from what I've been getting, what's happening now is that the veil is lifted. We've been talking about this since the beginning of our YouTube channel, way back in 2015. We talked about how there are going to be creatures and beings and entities that will reveal themselves. Now, it's not that they've never been here, like they've been here the whole entire time. But what's happening is that that veil that was supposed to separate humans from other species is lifted now. And it was lifted before a long time ago. This is why in ancient scriptures and also in myths and legends, you always hear about the indigenous people would communicate with the spirits of the land, or the gods walk side by side with man, and that the gods left and they will come back. This is also talked about in Emerald Tablets by Thoth or Jehudi, which is the Kemetic or Egyptian god of wisdom, of knowledge, science, and magic. Jehudi is also one of the guys, the first guys that introduced himself to me and opened up my mind into the occult world. And a lot of the information and stuff that I channel on my YouTube channel is divine information that's been given to me, whether it was in a dream, in a vision, or channeled when I'm writing. Because I am an oracle and I am a scribe, and I write down the messages that Spirit gives me and I put it into my YouTube channel. So this is the reason why a lot of people may feel like their body vibrates, or they feel tingles or chills or ringing in the air when they listen to my videos, is because a lot of the information that I'm giving is channeled information that was given to me. Not everything can be found in a book, not everything can be found on YouTube. Some things that we have to actually look ourselves to find, right? So with these aliens and stuff, right, like I don't really like the word alien per se, because it just means like it's a being that's not from here, right? Because technically everybody that's in America that's not indigenous is an alien, right? Whenever you go to a different country and you're a foreigner, you're considered an alien. So the real thing is, I think that we are the aliens of this planet. Many of us are not even originally from here, but we did incarnate into certain bloodlines that have certain traits or connections to lands, and that's why we're able to habitate or live here. Now, I think that is very interesting that when in ancient times, when let's say the Crusades would conquer people, they would rape the women. And I'm really like, why would you want to, like, what do you get out of raping the women? And at first I thought it was like a dominant, some type of a domination ritual, a domination strategy, right? To take the women from the men, to kill off the men and take the women. But after doing further research and meditation, I've come to the realization that when foreigners, let's say aliens, right, come to a place and it's not their home, the land itself, Earth itself, is intelligent. So whatever it doesn't belong here or is a threat, just like if we have a foreign entity in our body, right, a pathogen, a virus, a bacteria, the body is going to attack it. It's going to send its white blood cells and soldiers to destroy the threat. Same thing with the Earth, right? The Earth is a physical body. It also has its own chakras, right? So if we want to understand things, we got to realize that certain foreigners or invaders that came and took land without proper procedures or rituals, that in order for them to try to avoid karma or to incorporate their bloodline into the land so that they can stay, they had to rape the women. They had to create hybrids of human beings. Now, it's interesting because in the Emerald Tablets, and I always talk about this book, right? And just side note, family, we do have an occult book club on our Patreon. So if you guys are interested in downloading free books, having access to free PDFs, information, and wanting to understand how to utilize these books to expand your occult knowledge, I definitely would say join our Patreon VIP membership, so that way we can get into the occult books, we can get into the occult sciences, and learn how to actually apply these things to our everyday life, right? What's the point of having all this information if you can't do anything with it? Let's stop being information junkies, right? And especially if you're a sapiosexual and you're watching this, 9 times out of 10 you get off on learning, and that's nothing wrong with that. But the problem is, what's the point of getting all of this information if you're not sharing it, if you're not applying it? And this is also talked about in The Secret Science by John Baines, one of my favorite books, one of my many favorite books. It's also in my Amazon store. And I talk about this book because he talks about, listen, everything that I say in this book, he says, I don't want you to even take it as truth. I want you to apply what is said in this book, and if it resonates with you, then it is true to you. Because something that resonates with you may not resonate with the next person, and that may not be their truth. And this is something that I'm learning in my occult journey. As I meet people and I converse with different people, you know, I don't reveal who I really am until I'm comfortable with the person to see where their knowledge is in the occult. Because truth of the matter is, when new information is introduced to people, it's different ways that you can go about it, right? When I give new information, or when people get new information, they can either reject it, right? They can either accept it, or they could be in a place where they're open to the idea, but it might take some time, whether it's days, months, or years, for that seed that was planted to grow. And I've met many amazing people who planted the seeds in my mind for my consciousness to grow and to seek this knowledge. And so in the Emerald Tablets, Hoodoo talks about how there were hybrid human beings, right? Like they were the originals, they were the sons of gods, right? Or the those who are of gods, and gods among men and then men on earth. There were 2 different types. And then he talks about how there was some calamity that had happened that kind of washed out a lot of the originals in order to have these superficial humans that had a lot of their psychic centers removed or suppressed, right? This is why a lot of us may have calcified pineal glands, not able to tap into our true psychic power. And what I find that's interesting too is I feel as though what's happening now also is that a lot of our psychic centers and chakras are opening. Our inner chi, our energy is activating. And because of that, right, our third eye is open. We're starting to see the truth. People are starting to open their mind and their eyes to the truth. People, and to be honest, whether the truth is given to a person, like I said again, they can choose to reject it or accept it, or they can just be like, that's an interesting idea. I don't really know what to do with it right now, but the subconscious mind will receive it, because it's always receiving, and then it will be planted in the mind. Now, whether that person decides to cultivate that seed or to let it die is completely their choice. But I feel as though sometimes when we step into this consciousness journey, and I'm also guilty of this too, so don't feel bad. When I first stepped into this consciousness journey, I started learning about the Illuminati, these symbols and stuff like that. Very in the beginning of my journey, like I wanted to share with my cousins, I wanted to share with my friends, like I wanted everybody to know, like, oh my God, you guys have to know the truth, right? Hold on, let me get this. Okay, my bad. Had the maid had to come and clean up. But yeah, like I was saying, in my journey when I first began, like I wanted to tell my family about it, I wanted to tell my friends about it. But you know, when people are not ready for information, when they're not ready to receive it, you know, it can literally be like psychic rape, or even like you projecting your will onto people. And people always talk about, like, you know, you shouldn't do controlling magic, you shouldn't do love spells, you shouldn't do domination spells, or any type of rituals to alter or manipulate another person's will. But people don't realize that they do this on a daily, like subconsciously, you know. When you are trying to force somebody to accept your idea or to accept your lifestyle or to convert, you know, you're literally pushing your energy onto them. You're forcing yourself onto them, and they're telling you, no, I don't want this, right? So yeah, whenever you're forcing something on a person and they don't want it, that is considered rape. Okay, So in order for us to realize, like, yo, you gotta be able to accept people for where they are on their journey and not feel like you know everything. When you start feeling like, you know everything, and even though your heart may be in a good place, like you want to help your family, you want to help your friends, you want the world to know what's going on, you gotta realize, like, yo, think about it. Before you stepped into your awakening, like, how did you feel when people tried to tell you how to live your life, right? Like when the old heads would tell you, like, oh, you shouldn't live this way, oh, you should read this book, oh, you should do this, you should do that. And when you're younger and you getting advice from old heads, a lot of the times you be thinking, like, you know what, I know what I'm doing, right? When we're young, we think we know everything. Nobody can tell us nothing. We think we're invincible, and then life happens, right? And we think back on those messages and the seeds that those old heads had planted and said, you know what, maybe they was right. Maybe there was some truth to what this person was saying. So let me delve deeper. And that's when we go back to the seed, planting the seeds. And that's okay. Now what I do is, instead of me forcing my ideas on a person or trying to project my lifestyle onto a person, now I just accept people for where they are, who they are, and I'm more observant and quick to listen and slow to speak. And as I continue to mature and grow and develop in my relationships in all different life aspects, I'm learning now that the easiest and most peaceful way to live is just to let things be, to let people be. And if you want to plant a seed, that's cool, but as long as you're not projecting. I only plant the seed if a person shows that they're open to receiving. If a person is closed off, they think they know everything and they just like very stubborn, these are the people that's hard-headed. And if you have a hard head, it's very difficult for new information to soak in. And as the old heads say, a hard head makes a soft behind, okay? So let that be a lesson. Sometimes people are just trying to help you. Before you think somebody's trying to project their ideas onto you, maybe consider what they're trying to say. Maybe be a little open to a different perspective than what you've built your life upon, right? I wouldn't be at the level that I'm at if I always was stubborn and hard-headed. Like, don't get it twisted. I was super hard-headed. I did not listen. I did what I wanted to do. Like, I was, like I said, a rebellious teen, a rebellious person. I still rebel against things that make no sense to me, right? Like, at the end of the day, we are in a 7-year, and I always talk about this, like 7-year dealing with numerology. Numerology is a powerful science, and if you guys are interested in learning more about numerology, I would definitely recommend signing up for the Patreon Occult Book Club, because we are going to be talking about breaking down the science of numbers, how numbers can be used to actually break down the science of the code of the universe. People actually study numbers. There's people who study numbers and the synchronicity of numbers to master the lottery. There's people that have been studied that said that there's certain synchronized numbers and patterns that you can study in the years of the lottery numbers winning, and these people learned the science of hitting the lottery. It's fucking crazy. So yeah, like once you start to get into the science of numbers, you will be able to predict future events, because this world that we are in, the matrix, right, this physical reality, is somewhat controlled by numbers. Numerology is actually more ancient than astrology, and people who have known astrology to be the first religion or spiritual practice of the ancient peoples, when they looked up in the heavens and they called the spheres gods, right? So with that being said, I want to just say that keep an open mind, right? Like, numerology is a powerful science if you learn how to apply it, okay? It's deeper than just a life path number. It's deeper than just your birth number. Like, numerology and the divine triangle, which is the book that we're studying right now in the Occult Book Club on Patreon, is actually talking about the many different aspects, like tying in the divine triangle, the science of astrology, numerology, and tarot. And it teaches you how you can start to practice and pull the tarot cards, and how each card is synchronized with certain life path, life situations. Every year you're in a new personal year cycle, and in that personal year cycle, there's certain energies and lessons that you need to learn, right? Whether it's learning about your relationships, whether you're in a 7-year cycle. 7-year cycle is dealing with spiritual energy. Like, you're supposed to mostly be focusing on self, doing shadow work, doing healing, working through things that are obstacles to you, so that way you can progress and grow. Like, your soul is in a certain space where it's going through a cocoon phase, it's maturing and developing in order to become an entirely different entity or being or essence. Now, with that being said, right, since we're in a 7-year cycle, right, this is like 7 mean I added up 2023, the year 2023. And some people may say that's not even a real year, but because you have agreed to this year, like let's say for instance when you go to work, when you go to school, and you have to write down the date that you check in, you clock into work, or the date that you have to give in an exam for a paper for school or whatever, right? You got deadlines to meet. You have to follow the Gregorian calendar, because this is the calendar that the world runs by for now, because things will be changing, right? With everything that's changing, you're going to start paying attention and seeing that more things are going to be revealed, that politicians, celebrities, people that you thought were innocent, you know, we're going to hear about a lot of indictments. We're going to hear a lot about people going to jail, about, you know, can I say this? Like trafficking, okay? Like we're going to hear a lot of things. The documentaries are coming up. People are starting to speak out. Like the truth is coming out. Scammers are being exposed, right? People that's out here under the guise of like spiritualists, healers, psychics, like they're being revealed that they're not true. So this is the time, if you have any type of skeletons or dark secrets, like you want to reveal it now. And it's best that you confess and you be honest with people than lie, try to keep covering up, because this is the year where all lies, all deceptions is getting exposed. Real talk. So yeah, it's a powerful year. Learn about numerology. Tell me guys, like, what do you think about, you know, the aliens and all of the stuff that we're hearing on the news now? And I just woke up today, right? And on the news, it was talking about, it was like a commercial for kids to become scientists, and it was saying, oh yes, we're building a new innovative science or project for children to learn like some biological warfare or something like that in order to fight aliens. And the little kids was like, yeah, let's fight aliens. And I'm like, yo, are they serious right now? It's a whole campaign going on. And I start noticing, like, when there's a campaign to spread an idea, it's planned that way. Trust me. It's not coincidence, okay? We gotta realize, like, the strings that these people hold. And what's happening now is we're seeing the fall of a great nation, okay? And I gotta be cautious of what I say on this platform. This is why I have a Patreon, because things that I don't want to say here, I say over there, okay? And once again, family, the truth is all coming out. Like, we're gonna start seeing, this is just the beginning of the year. Like, spring just started, so yeah, this is nothing yet. Wait until summer. Wait until freaking July. Oh yeah, that's when things are really going to start heating up. That's when things are going to start coming to a climax. That's when they're going to start to create even more distractions. But you got to stay steady. You got to stay grounded. And you got to remember who you are. And just, you know, before I go, word of advice. If ever in life you're feeling lost, confused, and you're not really sure where you're going, because coming into this journey, especially if you're new in your journey, it can be very depressing. It can be very sad and lonely, and sometimes you can feel like you're losing yourself, because you are losing that old self in order to shed old skin to become a new entire being. Okay, so whenever you feel like that, what I like to do is, and this was something that Spirit had gave to me, I go into a room, I'm by myself, I turn all of the lights off, I turn all electronics off, right? And there's no sound, there's no light, it's just me in darkness. And I'm meditating and I'm focusing on receiving. Instead of me projecting my ideas, I'm in complete receptive mode, receiving the information from the universe, receiving the information from my guides, receiving the information from my ancestors, right? And I'm discernful, and I say, you know, no truth shall be told for a lie, no lie shall be told for a truth. And I ask that the spirits reveal the truth to me clearly so that I can be able to understand it, okay? Because sometimes spirits like to speak in code and all of that, you know, nobody got time for that. I'm like, listen, just give it to me straight, no chaser, because that's how I give my information, that's how I like to receive it. You feel me? So just word of advice, like I said, try it out. Guys, let me know if you do try it out and it worked. Like, let me know, drop it in the comment section. Let me know what you guys think about all of the UFOs and aliens and stuff like that, and everything that's being projected now. The military now has a whole entire new department for specifically fighting intergalactic beings. Like, they've been had this when Trump was in office. Well, this is when they publicly announced it anyway. And now they have children, they're recruiting children to become scientists to figure out ways to destroy aliens. Like, at the end of the day, personally, what I think, I don't think that these beings that's, you know, showing themselves are dangerous or a threat to us. I think that it's a campaign to make people fear them and to hate them. But what if they are on our side? What if they're here to, you know, vanquish the ones who's been usurping their power and keeping humanity enslaved? So don't be so quick to believe everything your government tells you, okay? Because if you are new to my channel, all I gotta say is check out my videos, 200 plus videos, that is pretty much giving you receipts, okay? Receipts, historical documents, links, books, everything. Sources that can show you where your government lied to you, how they lied to you, how long they've been lying to you, and why they've been lying to you. Okay, I'm gonna leave you with that. So yeah, family, let me know what you think. Drop your comments below. If you guys are interested in learning more about tapping into channeling, talking to your ancestors, or being able to channel your star family, intergalactic family, aliens, right? They're actually probably just an extension of you, and some people do have these foreign DNA. Like I said earlier in the video, there's different type of human beings. The originals who have the original DNA of the gods, and then those who are hybrids who their DNA was shut down. That's the majority of the population, because the original ones had got wiped out. It was supposed to be exterminated, and they tried to exterminate us again through the jab, but it didn't work out like they wanted it to. It was supposed to be a mass extermination, a genocide. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Like I said, if you want to tap into that, I do have a class, the Spiritism and Mediumship class, that will help you to tap into your psychic powers and be able to channel these spirits like I do. Okay, so yeah, drop your comments below, hit that thumbs up button. If you're new to my channel, subscribe and hit that bell. Until next time, Conjure Queen signing out. Peace.